news involving a broadcasting giant. Jeopardy host Alex Trebek revealing his very personal battle. Trebek saying he's been diagnosed with pancreatic cancer.
I have some news to share with all of you.
Tonight, his message to everyone right here. Also developing at this hour, the singer R. Kelly and his explosive interview.
Is this camera on me?
Jumping out of his chair as he tries to defend himself against allegations of abuse. And tonight we've just learned R. Kelly has been handcuffed and is behind bars. The breaking news involving Michael Cohen tonight, the president's one-time fixer and attorney. What he has now given lawmakers. What he alleged during his secret testimony today on the Hill. The major storm moving across the country tonight, the passenger jet struck by lightning forced to turn back. And when this now hits the Northeast, Rob has the new timing. The Air Force veteran and now a new U.S. Senator revealing her horror in the Air Force, describing a rape by a senior officer and why she has chosen to reveal it now. The tense confrontation, 8 police officers on the scene, one with his hand on his gun. They discover the man was just picking up garbage on his own property. One officer saying, maybe you've been profiled. The investigation launched tonight. Just moments ago, authorities with news on a young girl discovered beside a popular trail. They need your help tonight. At the stunning moment, the police officer responding to a call, they believe he came in contact with fentanyl, suffering an attack on the way back to the station. Tonight, the Narcan that saves him.
This is ABC World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and it's great to have you with us here on a very busy Wednesday night. And we begin tonight with the difficult news on a beloved broadcasting legend known across America for decades. Jeopardy host Alex Trebek revealing late today he's battling stage 4 pancreatic cancer. Trebek posting a video message tonight saying he will fight this, he will keep working, and that he will beat the odds. Trebek has hosted Jeopardy since 1984 and says he was diagnosed with the stage 4 cancer this week, a diagnosis he shares with about 50,000 Americans every year. ABC's Tom Yamas tonight with the message from Alex Trebek.
Hi, everyone. I have some news to share with all of you, and it's in keeping with my longtime policy of being open and transparent with our Jeopardy fan base.
Tonight, stunning news from one of the biggest names in television. Jeopardy host Alex Trebek announcing he has stage 4 pancreatic cancer. On social media, the 78-year-old posting this message to fans.
Now, just like 50,000 other people in the United States each year, this week I was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer. Now, normally the prognosis for this is not very encouraging, but I'm going to fight this, and I'm going to keep working, and with the love and support of my family and friends, and with the help of your prayers also, I plan to beat the low survival rate statistics for this disease.
Just 2 weeks ago, Trebek was on the road promoting the 35th season of the show, and this is the second medical scare in as many years. Last year, Trebek took time off the show after a serious fall that required brain surgery. But then he bounced back at the helm of Jeopardy, just like he's been since 1984.
Welcome to America's favorite answer and question game, Jeopardy!
Hosting around 8,000 episodes, a record. Pancreatic cancer has taken the lives of Apple CEO Steve Jobs, actors Patrick Swayze and Michael Landon, and recently, singer Aretha Franklin. But Trebek saying tonight he's ready to fight this.
Truth told, I have to, because under the terms of my contract, I have to host Jeopardy for 3 more years. So help me, keep the faith, and we'll win. We'll get it done.
And Tom Yamas here with us tonight. And Tom, Alex Trebek's trademark wit on full display right there. And we're already hearing tonight from some other names wishing him well.
That's right, David. Friends, family, and colleagues are all wishing him well. Wheel of Fortune host Pat Sajak posting this on Twitter. There is no one I know who is stronger and more determined, and I would never bet against him. We and the entire country are pulling for you, Alex. And we are, David. Back to you.
All right, Tom Yamas with us tonight. Tom, thank you. Of course, we are all pulling for Alex Trebek. Let's bring in our chief medical editor, Dr. Jen Ashton. And Jen, you and I were talking about this before. Pancreatic cancer is one of the most difficult cancers to diagnose because it moves so rapidly before you even know it.
Exactly, David. This is a rare but aggressive type of cancer. It's one of the leading causes of cancer deaths, and often it's not caught until it's at a late stage. The majority of cases are diagnosed when it's already spread.
A lot of patients, people at home are going to be wondering then, should I be asking my doctor when I go for my physical or for my checkup? You're going to hear it in your own office. But there's a problem there, too.
Exactly. There's no screening test for pancreatic cancer because it is a relatively uncommon cancer, but there are risk factors that we know about that people can take steps to reduce. Diabetes, obesity, smoking, family history, certain genetic mutations all increase the risk, but there is reason for hope. There are over 1,000 clinical trials for pancreatic cancer in this country right now, David, and many of them are showing promise.
And we are hoping for Alex Trebek. Dr. Ashton, thank you for being with us and for all of the Americans dealing with this same disease. In the meantime, we turn to the other news this Wednesday night. Singer R. Kelly is back in custody, back behind bars tonight, just hours after his explosive interview denying allegations of sexual abuse. He jumped out of his chair during the interview. A publicist had to step in as he was pressed. Has he ever had sex with underage girls? And what is his relationship with the young women who live with him now? ABC's Alex Perez in Chicago.
Tonight, embattled R&B singer R. Kelly back in custody after failing to pay $161,000 in child support. Kelly already charged with 10 counts of criminal sexual abuse. 3 of those alleged victims, minors.
This is not about music.
His arrest comes just hours after an explosive interview on CBS where he denied all allegations of sexual misconduct.
Have you ever had sex
No.
with anyone under the age of 17?
No.
Never.
No. I have been assassinated. I have been buried alive. But I'm alive.
Kelly firing back for the first time since he was charged in the wake of that Lifetime docuseries painting a picture of an abusive man who holds women captive.
How stupid would
never
it be
held
for R.
anybody-
Kelly, with all I've been through in my way, way past, to hold somebody, let alone 4, 5, 6, 50, you said. How stupid would I be to do that?
I didn't say you were
That's
holding.
stupid, guys.
I didn't.
Is this camera on me?
Yes, it's on.
That's stupid. Use your common sense.
The singer growing agitated, looking directly to the camera.
I didn't do this stuff. This is not me. I'm fighting for my life. Y'all killing me with this. I gave y'all 30 years of my career.
Robert.
30 years of my career. Y'all trying to kill me. You're killing me, man.
Kelly's publicist stepping in, putting his hand on him, pausing the interview.
Doesn't even make sense. Why would I hold all these women?
As for the 2 women who now live with Kelly, 21-year-old Azriel Clary and 23-year-old Joycelyn Savage, their parents believe Kelly brainwashed them as teenagers. This is the moment Clary's parents tried to get their daughter's attention. The families say they've tried to reach their daughters for years. Kelly now claiming those parents were just out for money and opportunity for their daughters.
What is your relationship with them?
I love them, and it's like they're my girlfriends. It's like, we have a relationship. It's real.
The 2 women defending Kelly today in a new interview.
Because you guys don't know the truth. You guys believe in some facade that our parents are saying. This is all lies for money. And if you can't see that, you're ignorant and you're stupid.
Joycelyn's parents today calling Kelly's claims horrific, sending their daughter, who lives with Kelly, this message.
Joycelyn, if you're seeing this message, please know that I love you. I'm your mother. I love you dearly.
A half hour later, Joycelyn calling her family.
I'm happy where I'm at. I told you a million times where I am, and I am very happy.
How will we know you're happy when we don't hear from you in 2 years?
Well, I have to go now.
I love you, Joycelyn.
I have to go now.
Another disturbing 24 hours in this case. Alex Perez live in Chicago tonight. And Alex, they are holding R. Kelly for failure to pay child support.
That's right, David. The judge ordered he be held until he pays the full back $160,000 he owes in back child support. His team says they hope to have that money by next week. David?
Alex Perez with us again tonight. Thank you, Alex. And now to late developments tonight involving Michael Cohen, the president's one-time fixer and personal attorney, revealing new documents behind closed doors on Capitol Hill today. Sources telling ABC News shortly after the FBI raided his home and law office that Cohen was approached by lawyers claiming to have ties to the president's personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani, as they tried to keep Cohen from flipping. Here's ABC's Chief Justice correspondent Pierre Thomas tonight.
Today, Michael Cohen back on Capitol Hill. behind closed doors with the House Intelligence Committee. The president's former fixer, now his sworn enemy. But tonight, sources tell ABC News that shortly after the FBI raided his home and office, Cohen was contacted by two attorneys claiming to have ties to Rudy Giuliani, the president's personal lawyer. Sources say those attorneys wanted to make sure Cohen did not abandon the president. At the time, the president was publicly sympathetic to Cohen.
They broke into the office of one of my personal attorneys. It's a disgraceful situation.
Before Congress last week, Cohen said he could not talk about the communications he had with the president or his team after the raid.
Unfortunately, this topic is actually something that's being investigated right now by the Southern District of New York, and I've been asked by them not to discuss and not to talk about these issues.
Cohen also told Congress the president expected him to lie about a Moscow Trump Tower project.
You need to know that Mr. Trump's personal lawyers reviewed and edited my statement to Congress about the timing of the Moscow Tower negotiations before I gave it.
The president's attorneys flatly deny that. ABC News has learned that today Cohen provided Congress documents, including emails, which he claims will show the edits made to his false statement. He says he'll talk to Congress as long as they still have questions.
I would continue to cooperate to the fullest extent of my capabilities. So thank you all very much for being here today.
As for those attorneys that sources say are tied to Giuliani, prosecutors are clearly trying to find out if anyone tried to influence Cohen after those raids. David?
Pierre Thomas with us again tonight. Thank you, Pierre. And now to the major storm moving coast to coast tonight. Snow, rain, and strong winds heading east. In fact, a passenger jet headed for Seattle was hit by lightning, had to turn back to LAX. In fact, those lightning strikes shooting across the sky over Southern California, nearly 1,500 strikes recorded in just 5 minutes. Much of the country now trapped in an Arctic blast, single-digit wind chills from Chicago to New York to Boston, and this system is now headed to the Northeast. So let's get right to Rob Marciano tracking it all for us. Hey, Rob.
Hi, David. This system's going to hit the entire eastern half of the country. As a matter of fact, still in California, got another day of rain and snow. But by Saturday afternoon, we're looking at heavy snow across the northern plains, heavy rain into Chicago, eventually into the Northeast on Sunday. And then look at that severe weather swath. The same areas that got hit on Sunday likely will get hit again this weekend. They're also dealing with these sub-freezing temperatures that we're dealing with here in the Northeast. Another mid-January-like morning with wind chills in the single digits from Des Moines to Detroit all the way through Boston, not warming up till that next system gets here. David?
All right, bundle up in the morning and tonight, too, as we can see, Rob. Thank you. We're going to turn now to a powerful and deeply personal moment on Capitol Hill today. Arizona Senator Martha McSally, America's first female fighter pilot to fly in combat, coming forward today, revealing she was raped by a superior officer while in the Air Force. Senator McSally, what she said, and why she revealed it now. ABC's Mary Bruce on the Hill.
Tonight, Martha McSally, a senator, a veteran, the first female Air Force pilot to fly in combat, shared that she privately bears another title.
Like you, I am also a military sexual assault survivor. But unlike so many brave survivors, I didn't report being sexually assaulted. So many brave survivors, I didn't report being sexually assaulted. I didn't trust the system. I blamed myself. I was ashamed and confused. I thought I was strong, but felt powerless. The perpetrators abused their position of power in profound ways. And in one case, I was preyed upon and then raped by a superior officer.
For years, she stayed silent, and when she did try to speak out,
I was horrified at how my attempt to share generally my experiences were handled. I almost separated from the Air Force at 18 years. Over my despair. Like many victims, I felt the system was raping me all over again.
And so let's bring in Mary Bruce. She's up on the Hill tonight. And Mary, the Air Force is responding tonight to Senator McSally.
And David, they say they are appalled and deeply sorry for what Senator McSally experienced and that they are steadfast in their commitment to eliminating this behavior. But David, this behavior is on the rise. In 2017, there were nearly 7,000 reported sexual assaults in the military, a record high.
Mary Bruce tonight. Mary, thank you. We're going to move on here to President Trump. He was asked today about new evidence reportedly from inside North Korea just 1 week after President Trump's summit with Kim Jong-un collapsed on the world stage. The president was asked today about reports of North Korea rebuilding a key missile site. Here's ABC senior White House correspondent Cecilia Vega with how the president responded.
President Trump today said he would be very disappointed in his friend Kim Jong-un if North Korea is rebuilding a long-range rocket launch site.
President, is North Korea breaking a promise by rebuilding a key missile launch site?
Well, we're going to see. It's too early to see.
But these new satellite images showing cranes, vehicles, and supplies right next to the test site suggest North Korea has already started to rebuild. The pictures taken just days after last week's summit between President Trump and Kim fell apart. In Vietnam, the president said he believed Kim when he vowed not to resume testing at nuclear and missile sites.
I trust him and I take him at his word. I hope that's true.
But today, faced with those new images,
I would be very disappointed if that were happening. I would be very, very disappointed in Chairman Kim, and I don't think I will be, but we'll see what happens. We'll take a look.
But just before the summit, the head of the CIA warned that bolstering his nuclear arsenal was Kim's goal all along.
The regime is committed to developing a long-range nuclear armed missile that would pose a direct threat to the United States.
Everyone watching the situation with North Korea very closely. Let's get to Cecilia now. And Cecilia, even today with this new evidence, President Trump insisted he has a good relationship with Kim Jong-un and is still hoping negotiations will continue.
Yeah, David, he says that ultimately this will get solved. But even if the White House wants to continue these talks with North Korea, remember the talks fell apart. They collapsed last week. And North Korea says its proposal will never change. Right now, David, there are no future talks on the books.
All right, Cecilia Vega with us tonight. Cecilia, thank you. And as you know, Homeland Security Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen was on Capitol Hill today, testifying for the first time since President Trump declared a national emergency at the southern border. Government figures, in fact, show more than 66,000 migrants crossed the border without authorization last month. That is the highest number in 11 years. Nielsen was questioned about the administration's family separation policy. She insisted, though, children are not still being kept in cages.
Are we putting children in cages as of today?
Children are processed at the border facility stations that you've been at. Some of the
And I've seen the
areas-
cages. I just want you to admit that the cages exist.
Sir, they're not cages.
The Senate is expected to vote against the president's national emergency declaration as early as next week. The House already has. The president is expected to veto it if it reaches his desk. In the meantime, there's still much more ahead on World News Tonight this Wednesday. The disturbing discovery at a popular trail. A child's body found in a duffel bag, what authorities revealed just moments ago. They need the public's help tonight. We'll have more in a moment. Then the tense confrontation, several officers on the scene, one with his hand on a gun. The young resident, it turned out, was simply picking up garbage in his yard. An officer saying, "You likely have been profiled." And the stunning moment, an officer on a call possibly exposed to fentanyl, suffering an attack on the way back to the police station, and you'll see the officers using Narcan to save him. Up more news ahead tonight.
His own yard. You have weapons, you have protection. I'm over here picking up trash on my property. Holding a bucket and a tool used to pick up trash. I don't have a weapon. This is a bucket. Zaid Atkinson, a college student, questioned why a patrol officer stopped and asked if he was allowed to be there. Soon, a swarm of officers arrive on the scene. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 officers of the law. You can see one officer with his gun out, the barrel pointing down.
It's likely you got profiled.
The tense confrontation lasts for more than 15 minutes.
Tonight, the first officer on the scene is on administrative leave, and the police department has launched an internal investigation into the confrontation. David.
All right, Will Clark tonight. Will, thank you. There are new images tonight coming in of the jet going down off Houston. We'll show you. And that disturbing discovery, the news conference just a short time ago, after a young girl's body was discovered on a popular trail. They need the public's help tonight. The Index is next.
Happy birthday.
To the Index, and police are asking for your help tonight after a girl's body was found in a popular Southern California trail believed to be between 8 and 13, discovered in a duffel bag east of Los Angeles in Hacienda Heights. Authorities releasing this sketch tonight asking for help identifying her. There is new video tonight showing the final moments before that deadly Amazon cargo plane crashed outside Houston. The 767 seen falling from the sky there. The NTSB now saying the cockpit voice recorder indicates pilots lost control at least 18 seconds before impact. An officer saved in Fort Dodge, Iowa tonight. That officer returning to the station after making an arrest when he collapsed in the parking lot. First responders using Narcan to revive him. They believe he'd been exposed to fentanyl while on the scene. When we come back tonight, more from Alex Trebek, and it was the moment that made us smile this afternoon. I've been reading your messages on Twitter and outpouring for Alex Trebek tonight, vowing to fight this cancer with everything he has, including his wit.
With the help of your prayers also, I plan to beat the low survival rate statistics for this disease. Truth told, I have to, because under the terms of my contract, I have to host Jeopardy for 3 more years. So help me, keep the faith, and we'll win.
We are with you, Alex. The country pulling for you tonight. We'll see you tomorrow. Good night.